You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
Oh, you didn't know? Yes, it is.
Welcome everybody to the Hot Tag. Oh! Brought to you by the Official Wrestling Museum. We are your hosts. I am Angel, and I'm joined by the Official Wrestling Museum's Hall of Famer.
No life.
And we are here answering your questions, and we thank you guys so much for sending them in each and every week, because without you guys, we'll just be standing here looking handsome. Make sure.
I had to throw on my old Laconia Bike Week shirt for.
Yeah,
it was last week, but
Yeah.
2018 had to dust it out of the closet.
Right. And we still got that QR code if you guys can scan it. We just celebrated Professional Wrestling Day here in Rhode Island. We are trying to make it national, so if you guys can scan that. In coming weeks, we will be talking more about Pride RI and about RI Anime Con. It was two great
And
times.
we never
that
did
were
mention, we never did play the Memorial Day parade. I think we.
the Memorial Day Parade as well too. So we are going to get that stuff out there, and all that stuff is going to be uploaded to the website and also our YouTube
the parade
page as
video
well.
is on.
Yeah,
the
it's already
YouTube.
up there. Yep.
Official just type in Official Wrestling Museum
Yep.
on YouTube.
It's right there. If you go to our website, the link's on the top right-hand corner as well too. Also, make sure you guys check out all our shows this week. We started up our new free preview, which is a pretty cool one. That's a documentary about your personal experience that you
different.
bring up, and I think it's definitely something that people can relate to, even if it's not the exact situation. I think it's something that's going to be helpful. So that is starting to air this coming week as well too. And always keep an eye out, because we're around the community like crazy. We have been very, very on the go as of late these past few months. It's great. But yeah, we got actually two things to do after this today. So let's jump into it. Let's get some questions answered.
We do?
Yeah, you didn't know?
No.
You didn't check your email this morning, did you?
Yeah, you can go first today. Usually.
You might want to check your email, because we got a little drive ahead of us today. All right, number one, uno momento. All right. Is "You can't see me" really a good catchphrase? From Ben from Providence, Rhode Island.
I mean, think about it now. It's the big joke. You can't see me. Like John Cena doesn't. I mean, do I think it's a good one? I mean, it's nothing I would say personally, but the fact that the big running joke now, Cena's not even around, and Truth is doing it, and the big joke on how many memes now does it get? With the whole oh, here's a picture of three legends, and it's like Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, but the joke is, well, John Cena's there, you can't see him. So I mean, yeah, you can't say it's not, because it's
Right.
It's popular. It's a moneymaker. I mean,
is.
sold it on plenty of merch. So
I remember when it came out too, he said, I forget who it was, if it was a family member or a different person, and I bet you won't say this on TV, and he ended up going like this instead of going some other way, and they got stuck doing it. I was never, at first, I didn't understand it, or the purpose of it, but it grew on you, and like you said, it's out there. It's probably one of the most popular catchphrases that you're going to know about professional wrestling.
Is it any worse than if you smell what The Rock is? I mean, it's a catchphrase.
Yeah.
How many catchphrays do guys try to get out there that don't stick? It's stuck around for however many years, so you have to say yes.
Good old Cena. It's table's bigger, so you have to reach more for it. So it's actually like a hot tag. You got to reach for it.
I know.
Who would have thought?
All right, let's see here.
I love
Oh,
the
man.
AC's on today.
Is there anything you would do different if you were writing for WWE? James from Cumberland, Rhode Island. Is there anything I do different? Well, yeah, I mean, I would have my own ideas. I mean, there's a lot of things that I like, but there's a lot of things that I would like to do myself. I don't know if I want to. I don't
We had a
know
question similar to this, though. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like a week or two ago?
if you could write better.
Yeah, something like
But-
that.
But then again, we explained that like even the writers are hampered with certain
Yeah.
things, and
The thing
that's
is-
that question. But this one, yeah, there are things I do different. I don't know if I want to say what they are, because then you take then my
people
ideas
steal.
are out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think, I think anybody can simply put in that, yes, I would do something different, I would write different, because that is your interpretation of the story that's being told to you. So if you're not liking the way the story's going, you're like, oh, no, let's do it this way. This is how I would do it. Maybe
there's
your
even-
idea would work, maybe it wouldn't work.
Right, and there's
you
even
know?
things that they've done that I might not. I might have been like, oh, I would have done this, but then maybe even after like a month or so, you're like, you know what?
It
In
made sense,
actuality, that was the right call, because a month later, okay. So yeah, there are things I would do differently, but then again, I mean, I'm not gonna. That could be a whole show.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give.
And
my
at the same
ideas
token,
because
too.
you'll steal them on me.
Yeah, those thieves in the night. All right. So Brad from, I think it's Cranston. It's a C. They scribbled. What is your thoughts on Papa Shango?
Oh man. All right. Papa Shango. So that's a pretty good question.
Yeah.
Timely for me.
Yes.
Because me and my son, I've gotten into putting on Superstars from 92-ish. I think it's from 92.
Yep.
Every night before bed, we throw on Superstars. So he knows a lot of the older people, but it's something easy to watch for before bed, and it's fun for me because it's going back and watching this stuff. And one of the characters that right now is being heavily featured is Papa Shango. And you remember him from back in the day, and you're like, yeah, it was cool, but at the same time, maybe because we were probably like 12, 13 years old, it was hitting that kind of corny stage for us too, in a way.
Yeah.
Now, looking back at it, I'm watching it with different eyes in two different ways. One, like looking back at it going, okay, does this hold up well? How was this character? But then there's also I'm watching it through my son's eyes. He is super into he's right now going through the curses of Ultimate Warrior, setting people on fire and stuff. And, Charles Wright, who plays Papa Shango, the Godfather, awesome. Like looking back at it now, like, man, this character was so cool. And
Yeah.
so, if anyone like the Boogeyman, like this is the Boogeyman, but then some. He did so well with the character.
I think what was so oppressive with the character back then, especially where we are today looking back, is what they were able to pull off that
Yeah,
in today's
with, like, the
age would have
curses
been
and
so
stuff.
easy to pull off.
Yeah.
Back then it was, to get somebody to foam from the mouth, to get somebody to do all this, you didn't have that cut screens.
Right.
You didn't have all this. You had to, you know what I mean?
It's funny because when I'm watching, I'm like remembering, like, okay, I remember he does this with this guy or this, and I'm watching, like, okay, how's it work? Trying to figure this stuff
Yeah.
out. Like one guy's hand was on fire, and I'm like, when does that happen? And I see beforehand, you see a little bit of liquid in his hand, so I'm like, okay. But then it's like, wait, how's he sitting there for 20 seconds and it's not burning him? So even it's
Yeah.
cool, and
And I think it also shows too back then, especially a lot of the enhancement talent, what they were willing to do for the business and help get
Yeah.
the generations and
and
superstars over and
that
stuff.
was when it was fun.
It really was.
I think honestly,
And you believed in him.
Yeah.
You were afraid that he was gonna do something through your TV screen and put a voodoo curse on you because he made it that believable.
this is a case where we've talked in the past about, like, say, Red Rooster, and
Yep.
again, he's always like the go-to for bad gimmicks. But again, if you put your all into something, and again, I can't knock Terry Taylor. That gimmick was never going to work. But the theme that, like, Bruce Pritchard likes to say is, well, if he put his all into it, that character would have worked. Charles Wright with the Papa Shango character, he put his all into it. I think the character was designed off of a James Bond villain.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's off a James Bond movie
And then
or something. Yeah,
I remember
Yep.
that there was talk that like around 90, right before the Nation, he was supposed to come back as Papa Shango, but from what I remember, USA didn't want the voodoo character. They didn't want that, so he came back as Kama Mustafa and in the Nation. So, but yeah, I mean, he wasn't, a good friend of the Undertaker. So, I mean, it was a cool character.
Yeah. Good question.
Yeah.
Good old Papa Shango.
Good theme song.
Yeah. Everything with him was a solid package.
All right, let's see here. How hard is it to jump off the top ropes? Mark from is it Johnston? Is that part of
Johnston.
Rhode Island?
It is part of Rhode Island.
How hard is it to jump off the top rope?
Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, I mean, well, it depends. Like,
Yeah.
okay, first off, when you climb up there, you got to be able to keep your balance.
Yeah.
Some people might think it's easy. I'm going to climb up. Well, those ropes, they are a little wobbly. It depends
Yeah.
on the ring. The ropes might be a little more wobbly than others. When I climbed up I used to climb up to the top, not now. But back in the day, I used to climb up, and I liked to jump. Kind of, you'll see Dragunov do it. You'll see Shane McMahon, Rob Van Dam. When they go from coast to coast, I jumped. I used to like to jump that way off the actual rope itself. I didn't go all the way across. I went about 3/4 of the way across, but and hit a big splash. But and I modeled it after the Barbarian because the Barbarian used to do it when he would do his diving headbutt. And I felt like I could get more distance because I'm using the spring of the rope. But also, if you're going up top to do, like, say, a moonsault, a lot of people, there's people that'll say, like, oh, I can do a 450 or what is it, 450, right?
Yep.
450 or a moonsault. And you don't realize, like, yeah, it looks easy enough to do, but the muscle memory and all that, like, for example, someone might say, I can do a 450, so I know I can do a moonsault. Well, you might be able to do a 450, but maybe you can't do a moonsault.
Yep.
It's different muscles.
There's a lot that plays
Yeah.
into factors. You hit it perfectly, too, when you go to the top rope, there's a lot of the ropes that are not tight. And it could be tight at the beginning of the show and at the end of the show. And if you're used to jumping off loose ropes, now you have a really tight rope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, I got my balance, but now you miscue and you're landing on somebody.
How often do you see, didn't Charlotte and Oscar just fall off the
Yeah.
top? I mean, you see it often. Someone falls off the top.
At Clash of the Castle, one of the things that's going on right now is a lot of people getting after the referee, telling AJ Styles the rope was loose. And a lot of people are like, oh, they gave away the loop. To me, it's like, seriously?
But you gotta
this
keep the
guy
guys
is telling
safe,
the
too.
guy safe,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, you
Jay
know what I
Cargill
mean?
slipped on the top.
Yeah,
at Clash of
and the
Castle.
thing too is, there's all those lights are on top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they got AC on in the building, if they're outside,
If they got-
the dew on the ropes,
someone
the
might have
sweat,
put oil on
a
their
lot
body
of times,
and-
yep, you see
So
the
there's
guys
a
wipe
lot.
the ropes.
I mean, Hayabusa, it wasn't
Yeah.
even a top rope, but Hayabusa became paralyzed when he went to do a move he did every match, the lion salt.
And when we train people, one of the biggest things when we're teaching them to go to the top rope, if they're dominant, say with their right hand, if they're going up on the top rope on the other side, where their dominant foot isn't reaching that top rope first, it throws them right
Yeah,
off.
right.
So they,
Right, I know I can only go up. Back in the day, I could only go up one way because
Yeah, it throws you off. So you have to. It plays a lot of things. It is. Is it easy? Yeah, once you're up there, you know what I mean.
For some guys, I mean,
But
like you look at
the
like
same time, it's
you look at like
dangerous.
guys like Shelton Benjamin or Ray or some of these guys or LA Knight now too runs and jumps right up to the top. That's to me that's amazing because number one, they got the ups to jump from the ring right up to the top turnbuckle without even hitting a buckle or anything.
Yeah.
And then, I know, we don't want to give things away, but the other guy's helping them and holding them. But that's amazing. Every time I see that move, I get a little scared because it's just so, it's also
You never know when
unpredictable.
you can
You're
just
coming
slide.
down.
Yeah.
You're coming down a good distance. So top rope moves, even if a guy goes and jumps, like, say, Bronson Reed, and say he misses, he might land on his ribs. I know I've come off the top and hurt my ribs maybe.
One thing that always nervous to me when I'm watching guys and they work inside the crowd, and then they go back in the ring and they go to the ropes. If they stepped on soda that was on the ground
That's
up
another
there,
thing, too.
and now it's
Yeah.
sticky. Now they go to the top rope. Now one foot might be sticking to that
Right.
rope, and the
There's
other
so
foot's
much-
not.
Yeah.
You know, your foot's still going to come off, but it's going to throw you off, and it's
So you're
big
gonna
safety.
have you're gonna have some guys that it's like a second home to them.
Yeah.
And then there's gonna be some guys that just like Sid. I mean, I know it wasn't the top rope. He only went off the second turnbuckle.
Yeah.
Destroyed his leg, and that was it. You know,
Yeah.
like some guys have no business being up there. I used to hate when was it Ryback that would go? Ryback started going off the top, and I remember watching it with my fiance. Always, every time he did it, I was like, no, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? You don't need to.
Yeah, some
That's-
people don't belong.
Yeah.
And they try to
Like
make
you know,
themselves look
a
bigger
guy,
or
a
make
guy
it
with
more
muscles
tougher.
like that, you know he's gonna blow his knee out.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
That was a good question, though.
That was. Who will win between Omos and the Great Khali? This is from David from North Providence, Rhode Island.
Is this a shoot?
I really don't know.
I'm gonna pick Omos in any sense of it. A shoot. Khali walks like he's got a pole stuck up him, very with his hips and everything. They say he trains people in India. I doubt very much he is physically training them. He's probably there, or they're using his name.
Did you ever see his show, like any of their matches or anything?
The people he's
Yeah.
trained. Well, I know a couple have gone to NXT. I know
Yeah.
the girl. I can't remember their names, but
Yeah, between the two of them, I would think Khali would have more ability over Omos. But I think if they were to book it or if it's a shoot, I think Omos is going to take it. You know what I mean?
man, I don't know why I started. I'm gonna just say Omos.
You're thinking of one of those chops coming out
Man,
to
I
your
don't know
head.
why the coffin bug is spread to me here from you.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
the problem with those big guys are they are so big that they just can't move. Like
Yeah.
Omos, Khali,
You know what? Though, I give
Giant
Omos,
Silva,
I give
Kurgan.
Omos credit though. He can.
Who?
Omos.
I think
he's
Omos
able
is-
to.
yeah.
You know, I mean, he doesn't
Big
seem
Show.
like he has too
That's
much
why
of a
I'm,
walking.
going back now, looking at the big guys like that. Big Show. I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, he's a big fat dude." He really wasn't. Like, I mean, remember when he first came in WCW. He's gone off the top with a drop kick.
Yeah.
He did that kip up, although he did hold on to the rope. But
He
still,
did it,
I mean,
though.
he still
He
did
did
it.
it.
I don't think Big Show. I think looking back now, you got to give Big Show credit for being a big guy like that. You're always on the road. You're traveling. I know
Yeah.
he traveled a lot in a bus and stuff, but there were times where he probably was in a car, and just you look at guys like that, like Andre. I know I've seen clips of Andre in his younger days where you would see him moving around. As he got older, he became that more like Omos, and
Yeah.
I think Omos probably looks like out of the big guys. He looks like more of the most athletic of the bunch.
I was just gonna say that. Yep.
Still nothing. I mean, he's that live attraction you see, and it's like, wow. But, all right.
Okay.
Did Burger King ever try to sue WWE or Jerry Lawler for him being called the Burger King? And that's from Tim in Cranston. You know what? I don't know. I mean, I would think that you would not mind having your company thrown out like that. I mean, I know people in the crowd were with the Burger King crown and everything.
Yeah, I know. Actually, Burger King. They actually made little stuffed animal figurines for their kids' meal.
Yeah.
Before.
I remember the kids club. I remember
yeah,
the
the
kids
kids
club.
club.
One of the kids was in a wheelchair.
Yes,
Wheel. I don't know what his name was.
The
probably
main
Wheels
the
or-
main character was Kid Vid. I remember
Kid
that.
Vic.
Kid Vid.
Kid Vid.
Kid Vid
Yeah.
was
Was
the
he the
main
blonde,
character.
right?
Yeah.
Was he in the wheelchair?
No, he wasn't in the wheelchair.
but
He
the
was the
blonde
one
dude
that had
with a
all
red
the
hat?
cool stuff.
I remember there was
yeah.
a black kid with a flat top.
Yep.
There was a girl with
There was.
red hair, I believe.
Yep. I think there was like 5 or
The
6
kid in the
of them.
wheelchair had red hair too, right? Didn't he? I don't remember, but I remember
Burger King Kids Club. I wouldn't think.
But what were you-
I didn't hear.
Did they make
They
the-
make the little like stuffed animals. They made Cena,
Oh,
Taker, I think Triple H. There's like 4 that they made.
Yeah.
And that was like around that time period. I don't remember hearing any lawsuit.
No.
And I think that's good publicity for them. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
I
It
do.
wasn't anything negative.
Right.
That was happening.
think
for
about
them
it.
to
If
be
you're
like
watching
it's damaging.
Superstars and Jerry Lawler's there, and you're seeing kids in the crowd wearing Burger King crowns, if you're Burger King, would you rather them wear McDonald's face mask or something.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So I wouldn't bother. It's free publicity.
Yeah. Free is for me, right?
makes me
That's what
wanna-
they say.
I think I'm gonna go get a Whopper after this.
You know,
The king
in all
of the
honesty,
sandwiches.
So where we're filming now, they moved. And the only place at that time was Burger King down the street.
You know what,
so
man?
that used to be
Real
the one
quick
stop.
about Burger King, you have no idea kids nowadays have zero idea what it's like with McDonald's and Burger King. Where if you had your birthday party at a McDonald's or a Burger King, it was like, yeah, look at who everyone wants to come. And we had this Burger King where I used to live down in Dorchester on Morrissey Boulevard, and people that know, they had Burger King, and then they had outside of it this White Castle, and it was this special room for birthday parties, and it was like,
Yep.
did you have?
Yeah.
Did you ever go to that one? Or
Not that particular
Oh,
one.
maybe they had other ones then?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know it was. But that one, man, and every time I go down Morrissey Boulevard, that Burger King is gone, but I'm always like, it's like, it signifies, it's like that Burger King castle. It was awesome. So imagine
Boy,
that kids
hey,
nowadays are like, you had a
Burger
birthday
King.
party at McDonald's?
We gave you a lot of publicity right
Yeah,
now
I
in
know.
this show.
What about a free Whopper?
Right? Jeez. All right. Is Bad Bunny returning to WWE anytime soon? Cole from Lincoln, Rhode Island.
I don't know if he is. I would. You know what, man? I don't even know who. I didn't know who he was at all.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you one song except for the one that he came out to, the Chambea or whatever it is. I didn't know what it was at that time, but at that pay-per-view with the backlash in Puerto Rico last year, like that was awesome. Like the
Yeah.
crowd, the way I'd never heard that song in my life. That song now is like, oh man, I had at Stryker's wedding. I was
That's
like, I
cool.
requested that song
That's
because I mean that song is so. I don't know what he says in it, but it's catchy. And you know what? You know, we did the celebrities a couple
Yep.
weeks ago. He's one that, I mean, for a celebrity, was not bad in the ring.
No, he
You know?
really wasn't. He surprised me. I haven't heard anything. I would assume if he was to come back, it would be for if they were doing another pay-per-view in
I
Puerto
think he
Rico.
will.
Or
I think
a
he-
Rumble
yeah.
return, something like that.
I think he will. I mean, Damian Priest is the champion now.
Yeah.
Who's to say that they don't bring him in maybe to have a match with Priest to catch publicity
Yep.
for? I mean, I don't know what his schedule is. But Bad Bunny, maybe he's on tour. I don't know what
Yeah.
his release schedule is as far as albums and stuff. Maybe just for example, maybe next month he's releasing an album. What better way to help publicize that, like we just said with Burger King, get on WWE TV for a month and
Yeah.
have a match against Damian Priest, you know? So I would say, as they say never.
Never
But
say
he's
never.
done such a good job and they use him sparingly, I could see him coming back. Damian Priest, I think, is also, he's got a big, I think he's going to still be a top guy for a while.
Yeah.
And he's got a babyface running him, so.
He's doing a babyface with his title run.
Yeah.
His title run's a
He's
babyface.
tweener
And then-
babyface, yeah.
and but he's not with the group.
Billy from West Warwick, Rhode
Hey,
Island.
Billy.
This is another return here. Will we ever see Brock Lesnar wrestle again? For me, I personally don't care. I mean, I've had my fill of him. Do I think he'll come back? Again, you can never say never.
Yeah.
It seems like with that whole lawsuit thing, his name has kind of died out. I've heard, they've actually said his name on TV. That's kind of when they start with the, let's dip our toes in the water, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, I mean, where they have said his name, I could see at least them going, okay, we're going to induct him into the Hall of Fame. And you
I
got to
can see him
remember,
probably
too.
doing something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got to remember, too, is that WWF or WWE is now owned by, TKO, right?
Yeah.
They own UFC. Brock Lesnar is a big star for both companies. And when it comes to certain things, like that company, yeah, they wanted to distance from Vince McMahon, but I could see them doing stuff with Brock Lesnar in the future.
Yeah, I will say probably like a Hall of Fame thing for sure. In the sense of him coming back to work shows and all that stuff. Like you said, they're dipping his name in a little bit here, a little bit there to see how people, they'll put him back on the website, they'll take him back off the website. Honestly,
They took him out of the game, but they're talking about maybe putting him back in.
as a downloadable guy. I don't see a purpose of Brock being back on TV to perform. You know what I mean?
I did want to see him and Gunther, but
Yeah, but what are you gonna do there?
But at the same time, too,
What are you
he's
gonna-
done everything there is
Right.
to do.
So if you have him go against Gunther, if Gunther beats Brock, it will help Gunther.
Mm-hmm.
If Brock beats Gunther, now Gunther's gotta kind of
Right.
build himself back up. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why I said, like, as far as me personally, I've had my fill of Brock. He doesn't do anything for me really anymore, but I could see them doing some business with him in the future.
Hey, let's try to get this one in before we have to wrap things up. Are you happy with the Cody Rhodes title run as of so far? Norman from Smithfield, Rhode Island.
So it seems to be generally like the build-up is always the bigger thing, the chase. And then the person gets that title or gets that big win. And then after that, there's a lull. So, but I'll say like, okay, so you know that they're going to build up towards Rock and Cody
Yep.
at some point. So now it's just like, okay, what are you going to do to keep my interest in the meantime? And generally, like the first month, it's like, okay, whoever he wrestles, he's not going to lose it to. So I like your idea. We talked maybe a couple months ago where you said, hey, I would make Money in the Bank or King of the Ring the very next pay-per-view after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Instead of, or maybe Backlash and then King of the Ring. Backlash, you could do kind of rematches and stuff, whatever. Maybe you put the champion in a tag match or something, but not in a program because he's not going to lose it right away. I do think that the AJ Styles program was pretty good. The Logan Paul, I think it hasn't been a home run, but it's been okay.
Well, I think it's what you came down to saying. You know what they're going to build up to, and they don't have nobody for Cody to build with.
Right.
And they shipped him over to SmackDown with it. Instead of keeping him on Raw. Raw would have had more opportunities for him to work different angles, different storylines with
I don't know.
than he had before.
I don't know because he was on Raw for like a year or so. I think that the move was okay, but it seems like, okay, they tied him up with AJ. Now it seems like they're going to tie him up with Solo.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, they haven't done bad. It hasn't been a home run.
I just don't think there's anybody at the quality to take him.
Yeah.
And that's nothing against AJ Styles.
Right.
You look at AJ Styles, to me, AJ is getting to that level of Randy Orton, where they don't need the belts, they don't need anything. They're out there to put over talent,
Right.
to, still tell stories,
Yeah.
all that stuff. So, yeah,
I
their
do
program
think-
was fantastic.
I do think that there's a story to be told with Cody and Randy, though. Like, I think could be told.
Yeah, that could
I
be
think,
told. I just think they don't want to invest that much into it yet.
Yeah, well, I think on on the scale of I'm not going to do a scale of like 1 to 10. Like if you're playing baseball, I would say they at least hit a double since he's won the title.
Yeah.
Maybe he's round in second to go to third.
And-
he's not there yet, so I'd put
And
him
you
at
also
that
got to
level.
remember, too, your two top champions, who needed more of that spotlight on him? It's going to be Damian Priest, because Damian Priest is still building himself up to that level. He's at that level
Yeah.
where Cody was already
Yeah,
at
Cody
that level.
Cody
he
was
just didn't
already-
have an accessory
yeah.
to walk out to the
Yeah,
ring
that's the
with.
thing. Cody has
That's
been
what
a
it came
top
down
guy
to.
for
Yeah.
almost 2 years. The title now just makes it even more so. But yeah, again, it hasn't been horrible. But with Roman being gone, The Rock being gone, The Rock is this big competition.
Like you said, it was like hitting a double.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I'd say he hit a solid double.
And I'll say to
They hit
us
a solid
too,
double, sorry.
last year we could say we hit a double, you know what I mean, when we made a professional wrestling day, right? Well, if you
Let's try to
do
make
this
it a home
QR
run, then
tell,
he's-
you do that home run for us, takes about 10 seconds, totally free to do, help us make it
And
a
the time you
national
can
push.
swing a bat.
Yep. Pow! So you can help us out. It would really be a big help. Thank you guys so much for sending in the questions. Make sure you send it in again, because without you, we can't answer questions like we said at the beginning of the show.
Right.
We really good questions. Yeah.
We can, but we like getting.
Yeah,
We like getting
we
these
like
random-
going in and
yeah.
saying, "Doo." So you know what they say, you write the questions.
We got the answers.
See you next week, folks.